Luis Enrique is not at the awards ceremony. He is at home watching Arsenal. The PSG manager was nominated for League One Manager of the season. The ceremony was happening, his peers were there, and he chose to sit in front of a screen and study the team standing between him and back-to-back Champions League titles. At the same time, inside Arsenal's medical room, Ben White is having his knee examined after leaving the London stadium in a brace. The scan results are coming, and they are not good. Across London, Jurrien Timber has still not been cleared to play. Ricardo Calafiori did not finish the West Ham match, and the Premier League title is still not won. 2 league games left. Barcelona Champions League final on May 30th. A PSG side already running physical drills in training specifically designed to stop Arsenal's set pieces. Everything is happening at once. And the next 17 days will define this Arsenal generation. This is Linda Arsenal Updates. Let us get into it. Luis Enrique skips the UNFP Awards to study Arsenal. Let us start with what was posted by Matchday Central on social media. Here is exactly what was shared word for word. Luis Enrique on missing the UNFP Awards ceremony. I never attend these kinds of events. I would rather stay at home and study Arsenal. That is it. That is the quote. Short, direct. And for every Arsenal supporter watching this, it should tell you something very important. Now, let me give you my analysis on this. Luis Enrique is the manager of Paris Saint-Germain. His team is heading into the Champions League final against Arsenal on May 30th. The UNFP Awards ceremony is one of the most prestigious events in French football. It honours the best players and managers of the entire League One season. Enrique was nominated for the Manager of the Season award, and he did not go. He did not go because he was at home studying Arsenal. Now, some people will laugh at that and say it is just a quote, just something funny he said to the press. But I want you to think about this differently. This man leads the defending Champions League champions. His team has dominated French football. They have a 6-point lead in League One with only 2 games to go. Their title is almost certain. He could have relaxed. He could have gone to that ceremony, shaken some hands, collected a nomination plaque and enjoyed the evening. Instead, he chose to watch Arsenal footage. That is not a casual decision. That is a statement about his professional focus, and it tells you clearly that PSG are taking this final with complete seriousness. They are not walking into Budapest assuming the trophy is already theirs. They are preparing, they are studying, and their manager is leading that preparation personally. This is the kind of detail that matters because it shows you the level of respect Arsenal have earned in European football right now. Gabriel Martinelli linked with Real Madrid. The next post comes from Fan Arsenal Team on social media. Here is what it says, word for word. Gabriel Martinelli has emerged as a surprise transfer target for Real Madrid, according to Spanish outlet El Nacional. The Brazilian continues to attract interest from La Liga giants amid ongoing transfer speculation around his future at the Emirates. And now, my analysis. First, I want to be very clear about something. This is a rumour. The source is a Spanish outlet called El Nacional. It has not been confirmed by Arsenal. It has not been confirmed by Real Madrid, and it has not been confirmed by Martinelli or his representatives. So we treat this the way we should treat any unconfirmed report, with caution. That said, the fact that this rumour exists at all is worth discussing. Martinelli is a Brazilian winger who currently plays for Arsenal. He is a player with pace, energy and directness. At his best, he is one of the most dangerous wide forwards in the Premier League. The interest from Real Madrid, even if only rumoured at this stage, reflects the profile he has built at the Emirates. However, the timing of this story is interesting. We are in the final weeks of a season where Arsenal are chasing both the Premier League title and the Champions League. The last thing anyone around the club wants right now is transfer noise unsettling the squad. And yet here it is. The situation is that Arsenal will need to manage this carefully. If the club wants to keep Martinelli beyond this summer, clarity on his contract situation and his role in the squad going forward will be essential. But for now, we keep this firmly in the rumour column. Nothing more, nothing less. Arsenal and Morten Schulman. The next post, also from Fan Arsenal Team, reads as follows, word for word. Arsenal remain keen on Sporting CP midfielder Morten Schulman and have been in recent contact with the club. The Denmark international has an €80 million release clause, but Sporting have signalled they are open to negotiations starting around the €60 million mark with a summer exit. Now, a real possibility. Now, my analysis. This one is more developed than the Martinelli story. The contact between Arsenal and Sporting CP has reportedly already taken place. That moves this beyond a vague link and into something that has more substance, even if a deal is still far from done. Morten Schulman is a Danish central midfielder currently at Sporting CP. His release clause stands at €80 million, but the key detail in this story is that Sporting have reportedly indicated they would be open to talks starting around €60 million. That is a €20 million reduction from the official release clause. And that kind of signal from a selling club usually means they understand a departure is coming and they want to structure it on their own terms rather than wait for someone to trigger the full keep and buyout. For Arsenal, this is a significant potential piece of business. The club has injury issues in midfield. We will talk about those in detail shortly. The idea of adding a quality proven midfielder in the summer window makes complete sense from a squad building perspective. But again, this is not confirmed. This is reported contact. This is a rumoured fee range. We do not know if personal terms have been discussed. We do not know if Arsenal have made a formal offer, so we treat this as a developing story. One worth watching, but not one to overreact to just yet. Before we continue, if you are finding this breakdown useful, if you appreciate analysis that separates facts from rumours and gives you the full picture without the noise, then hit that subscribe button right now. Linda Arsenal Updates is built for supporters who want to understand what is actually happening, not just what the headlines say. Subscribe, hit the notification bell and let us keep building this community together. Now back to today's stories. Paul Merson sends a warning. The next post comes from Arsenal News on social media. Word for word, here is what was shared. Paul Merson sends warning about Arsenal Football Club's future. What is coming next season will shake football. Arsenal are building something special while other clubs are living off history and excuses. The Premier League will not be ready for this Arsenal team. Some fans still talk about history. Arsenal are trying to become the biggest club in the world right now. The Post also notes that Merson believes Arteta's side are evolving into a genuine football powerhouse, with the club focused entirely on the present and future rather than the past. My analysis on this: Paul Merson is a former Arsenal player and now a football pundit. He has not always been the most optimistic voice about the current Arsenal project. So when he speaks this positively, it carries a different kind of weight compared to someone who has always been in the cheerleader corner. The core of what Merson is saying is this: Arsenal under Arteta are not just having a good season, they are becoming something structurally bigger. They are in a Premier League title race, they are in a Champions League final. They have a clear identity, a defined playing style, and a manager who has built something sustainable rather than something accidental. The phrase that stands out to me is the idea that other clubs are living off history. That is a pointed comment, and in the context of English football right now, it resonates. The situation is that Arsenal have spent the last 3 to 4 years quietly and deliberately building. Every summer window has added pieces, and every season has pushed the ceiling higher. The evidence does suggest that what is being built at Arsenal is a long-term structure. And if the club wins the Premier League title this season, combined with a Champions League final appearance, the trajectory becomes even clearer. This is not just a feel-good quote. It is a reflection of genuine momentum. Viktor Gyökeres to miss Sweden warm-up matches from Arsenal News. The post reads as follows: Viktor Gyökeres to miss Sweden warm-up matches due to Champions League final. Gyökeres will reportedly miss Sweden's World Cup preparation games against Norway and Greece because of his involvement in the Champions League final with Arsenal Football Club on May 30th. Sweden coach Graham Potter confirmed the striker will remain focused on the club final before linking up with the national team afterwards. My analysis: this story is relatively straightforward, but it tells you something important about where Arsenal are right now as a football club. Viktor Gyökeres is Arsenal's striker. He is also a Swedish international. Sweden have World Cup preparation games scheduled, and normally a player of his importance would be expected to join up with his national team during this window. But the Champions League final on May 30th changes everything. Graham Potter, who coaches Sweden, has confirmed that Gyökeres will stay with Arsenal for the final before linking up with the national squad. That is the right call. And the fact that a national coach is accommodating a club fixture at this level speaks to how significant the Champions League final is. For Arsenal supporters, this is simply good news. Your striker is focused. He is not being pulled in two directions. He is not travelling for international warm-up games that could carry risk of fatigue or injury at the worst possible time. He will be available, rested and fully prepared for Budapest. This kind of logistical clarity matters more than people realise in the final weeks of a long season. PSG training footage leaked. Arsenal Radar posted the following: PSG are already preparing for Arsenal's set-piece threat ahead of the Champions League final. Leaked training footage shows PSG goalkeepers using rugby-style crash pads and physical drills to deal with crosses and corners. My analysis: this one caught my attention immediately, because when a team starts running specific training drills aimed at replicating your threat, it confirms something. It confirms that your threat is real and that the opposition is genuinely worried about it. Arsenal are well known for being dangerous from set pieces. Arteta has built a system where corners and free kicks are not just hopeful punts into the box. They are structured, rehearsed routines designed to create specific types of danger. The numbers back this up. Arsenal score important goals from set pieces regularly. PSG know this. And the fact that their goalkeepers are now doing physical drills involving crash pads, being pushed and jostled by teammates, tells you exactly what they are simulating. They are preparing their goalkeeper to deal with the kind of physical presence Arsenal bring into the box at set pieces. The reality for PSG is that no amount of training can fully replicate the chaos of a real corner or free kick in a Champions League final. But the effort they are putting into this specific aspect of preparation tells you they view it as one of Arsenal's most dangerous weapons. For Arsenal, this is almost a compliment. The defending champions are using part of their precious preparation time specifically to neutralise what you do best. That is, respect in its most practical form. Referees confirmed for title run in the final social media post from Arsenal News reads as follows. Premier League referees confirmed for key title race fixtures. Paul Tierney will referee Arsenal Football Club versus Burnley Football Club. Stuart Atwell takes charge of Manchester City Football Club versus Crystal Palace Football Club. Anthony Taylor will oversee AFC Bournemouth versus Manchester City Football Club. After recent VAR and refereeing controversy surrounding Arsenal versus West Ham and City versus Brentford, scrutiny on officials is expected to be even higher as the title race enters its decisive stage. My analysis: referee announcements rarely feel like major news in normal circumstances. But these are not normal circumstances. The title race between Arsenal and Manchester City is at its most critical point. Arsenal are 5 points clear at the top of the table with 2 games remaining against Burnley and Crystal Palace. The situation is that Arsenal need to win both of those games to secure the Premier League title for the first time in over 2 decades, regardless of what City do. Against that backdrop, the confirmation of referees becomes more charged than usual. There has been recent VAR controversy involving Arsenal in their match against West Ham. There has been controversy involving Manchester City in their match against Brentford. Officials are under an enormous spotlight right now. Paul Tierney taking the Arsenal versus Burnley match will be watched closely. Every decision will be scrutinised. That is simply the reality of where we are in this title race. The pressure on officials at this stage of the season is intense, and both sets of supporters will be watching every call with sharp eyes. What matters for Arsenal is staying focused on what they can control. Win the football matches, let the rest take care of itself. Luis Enrique, Arsenal, and what it really means. Now, let us go deeper on the Luis Enrique story, because there is more to it than the headline quote. It is now clear that the PSG manager is not simply preparing in the way any coach would prepare for a major final. He's approaching this with a level of intentionality that deserves careful attention. Enrique has spoken openly about Arsenal before this. After PSG knocked out Bayern Munich to reach the final, he was already making references to Mikel Arteta. The two men were teammates in their playing careers. There is genuine mutual respect between them. But behind that respect is a deeply competitive edge that both managers carry. The situation at PSG domestically is almost uniquely comfortable. Their League One title is effectively sealed. Enrique himself said there is a 99.9% chance they are already champions, with a 6-point lead and superior goal difference over Lens with 2 games remaining. He has also been managing the minutes of key players carefully. Achraf Hakimi and Warren Zaire-Emery are both dealing with minor issues, and Enrique has had the luxury of protecting them without risking the domestic title. That luxury does not exist for Mikel Arteta. The Premier League title race means Arsenal cannot afford to rotate excessively. Key players need to play in the final league matches. The physical demands on Arsenal's squad over the coming weeks are significantly higher than what PSG are facing. This is not a small detail. The difference in fixture pressure between the two clubs heading into the final is real, and it could be a factor in Budapest. The evidence suggests that Enrique is using every available advantage. The footage of PSG goalkeepers training to deal with Arsenal's physical threat at set pieces. The public acknowledgement that he skipped a personal award ceremony to study his opponents. These are not accidental signals. This is a coach communicating to his players, to his staff and to Arsenal themselves that preparation is total. Danny Murphy's prediction and what the numbers say. Danny Murphy's comments deserve a proper breakdown. Murphy made his prediction clear. He believes Arsenal will win both the Premier League title and the Champions League. And the logic he offered is interesting from an analytical perspective. His argument is essentially this: if Arsenal win the league first, which it looks likely they will, then the Champions League final becomes what he described as a free hit. The pressure changes. The players go to Budapest having already achieved something historic, and in that mental state they can express themselves. His specific prediction for how Arsenal might win the final is also worth noting. He said Arsenal would give PSG respect, would nullify them, and would likely win it on a set piece. Given what we have already discussed about PSG's goalkeeper training specifically designed to counter Arsenal's set-piece threat, the fact that Murphy lands on that particular method speaks to how widely recognised that threat is. The Opta supercomputer, which calculates probabilities based on historical data and current form, has identified Arsenal as favourites to win the Champions League this season. That is a significant data point. This is not just emotion or bias. These are calculated probabilities based on evidence. The reality for Arsenal is that they are genuinely positioned to make history, a first league title in over 22 years, a first ever Champions League trophy. These are not impossible outcomes, they are within reach, but the margin for error in the Premier League is still slim. Arteta cannot afford complacency against Burnley or Crystal Palace. Both games must be treated with full focus and full intensity. Arsenal's injury crisis heading into the final weeks. This is the story that Arsenal supporters need to understand most clearly right now. The injury situation at Arsenal is serious. Multiple key players are either confirmed out or facing uncertain timelines. And with 2 Premier League games and a Champions League final still to come, the decisions Arteta faces over the next 2.5 weeks are enormous. Let us go through each player one by one. Ben White, the Arsenal right-back, sustained an MCL injury, which stands for medial collateral ligament, during the Premier League match against West Ham. The club has confirmed officially that this injury rules him out for the remainder of the season. His potential return date is next season. Beyond Arsenal, it has also emerged that this injury looks likely to rule him out of England's Summer World Cup duty as well. He was seen leaving the London stadium in a knee brace. Arteta said at full-time that it did not look good at all, and that assessment has proven correct. White is done for this season. The consequence of losing White is significant. He is a consistent, reliable presence on Arsenal's right side. His absence means Arteta must find a solution in that position for both the Burnley and Crystal Palace Premier League matches, and potentially for the Champions League final itself. Jurrien Timber, the Dutch international, has been sidelined with an ankle injury since March. Arteta has already admitted that managing Timber's situation has been one of the most difficult challenges of the entire season. He said directly that Timber is not fit to play right now. There is no confirmed return date. The situation is that Arsenal are in a race against time to get Timber back before May 30th, but there are no guarantees. Riccardo Calafiori, the Italian defender, was substituted at half-time during the West Ham match. Arteta referenced having to make another change involving Calafiori without going into specific detail about the nature of the problem. Given that Calafiori has already missed 13 matches across the season through injury, any new setback is a serious concern. There has been no official update on how serious this latest issue is. Mikel Merino, the midfielder, has been absent since undergoing surgery on a foot injury back in February. He has returned to individual training, which is a positive sign. Arteta acknowledged that if everything goes smoothly and quickly, Merino could be available for the Champions League final. The potential return date is listed as May 30th against PSG. But Arteta was careful not to make any promises, saying there is still a fair bit to do and that everything needs to be smooth and quick for Maresca to have any chance of featuring. The picture that emerges from these injury updates is one of a squad navigating a genuinely difficult moment. White is confirmed out, Timber is doubtful, Calafiori is a concern, and Merino is in a race against time. This is the context in which Arteta must prepare for 2 title-deciding Premier League games and a Champions League final against the defending champions. The evidence suggests that squad depth and adaptability are going to be tested to their absolute limit over the next 17 days. How Arteta manages these challenges will be one of the defining stories of Arsenal's season. Let us step back and look at everything we have covered today as a complete picture. Paris Saint-Germain's manager is studying Arsenal instead of attending award ceremonies. That tells you the level of respect and the level of threat Arsenal carry going into this final. There are transfer rumours circulating around Gabriel Martinelli and a potential link to Real Madrid that is unconfirmed and should be treated as speculating only at this stage. Arsenal are reportedly in contact with Sporting CP over Danish midfielder Morten Hjulmand, with the Portuguese club open to negotiations below the official release clause figure. Again, no deal has been confirmed. This is a developing situation. Paul Merson believes Arsenal are building something that will shake English football. Viktor Gyökeres is staying focused on Arsenal rather than joining Sweden's warm-up games. PSG are doing specific goalkeeper training to counter Arsenal's set-piece threat. The title run-in is entering its most critical phase. Referees have been confirmed for the key fixtures, and the margin for error in the Premier League is paper-thin. Most importantly, Ben White is out for the season, Jurrien Timber remains doubtful, Calafiori is a concern, and Merino is fighting to be ready for Budapest. The situation is that Arsenal are on the edge of something historic, a Premier League title they have not won in over 22 years. A Champions League final they have never won in their entire history. Everything points toward the end of this month as one of the most important moments in the club's story. The question now is whether the squad, the manager and the club can hold it all together for just a little bit longer. That is the analysis for today. I am watching everything, so you do not have to. This is Linda Arsenal Updates. Stay locked in.